our modern day leaders who, by the way, they will never understand what it actually means to be selfless. And this is the thing for me. The leadership appointment of the West has become so soft touch, it's not funny. Those guys don't need to have actually had any real qualification behind them. They don't need to have actually run any business. They don't need to have actually been a part of the military and served the country in any way. They don't need to have any real discipline. They just need to be able to be good, convincing people.
They are theatre kids. That's what they are. They're theatre kids. They're theatre kids who never really found a place in society, and so they decided to try and change society from the political sphere.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blaster! Welcome to the Mark Pirotta Show.
Emeka, mate, how you doing?
Well, thanks. This is our weekly chat where we just talk about whatever is happening in the world this week.
Mate, it's something that I've been looking forward to now for another 7 days. I feel like every day I've been like, when's Tuesday? Do I want to catch up with Emeka?
Just so that we can get mad at the world together.
Yeah, just pick something just to get angry at, something to agree with. I think this time it's something we agree with.
Yeah. So you told me about this episode that you saw a video online, which I think I've seen, but I didn't watch it all the way to the end. So tell me more. Yeah,
mate, it's gone pretty big. It's World War II veteran. He's 100 years old. His name is Alec Penstone, and he was on CBN News, and he gave probably one of the most gut-wrenching interviews that I've seen. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean, we could watch that now if you want.
Let's watch it.
And
let's do it.
We'll do a real react and let everyone see what they think about it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now. And what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Man.
So yeah, today's Remembrance Day. I was in the Air Force for about nearly 8 years, and my time there, like personally, was rough. Look, it taught me a lot of resilience and it grew me. Don't say that I necessarily enjoyed my time there though. And to think that some of the stuff, like even if you talk about something as basic as the training that they put you through. I mean, my time in the Air Force is nothing like what some of these guys that endured World War II and are still alive today, some of them still are, would have actually gone through. The amount of trauma they would have faced in their time. And they would have been going into those battlefields fully knowing that that could be their last time here. But they've made peace with themselves on the premise that, you know what, I am doing this because I am selfless. I'm doing this for others. And even if it kills me, I'm doing this so that my country can have freedom, can stand on the ground that a price was paid for, and can stand and say, we get to claim freedom. We get to live in a society that's intelligent, a civilization that continues to do its best to thrive and build upon what humanity and civilization has built.
Yes. Yeah, and there is an element of that I saw in the video. There was a hurt in his eyes I think that's what got everyone. It's the shake in his voice that is probably from old age to a point, but it was also just grief.
Yeah.
That not just that his buddies were dead, but that in his mind they died for nothing.
Yeah.
That is the scariest thing, because I think any man would die for a cause, right? Every man would die for his kids, would die for his wife.
Yeah.
But if that cause becomes pointless and fruitless,
yeah.
and if anything, their death facilitated the growth of another organization, right? And I mentioned this probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago to someone.
Yeah.
Marvel. Do you remember that Marvel movie where it turns out that S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually Hydra the
Yeah.
whole time? That's what it feels like with like the UN, the WEF,
Yeah.
all of those, the EU, like all those organizations effectively became what they were set up to fight against.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's where he's coming from. He's basically sitting there saying, we fought for freedom away from this tyranny of governments
Yeah.
and this tyranny of nationalist ideas.
Mhm.
But now we're creating a one world order. Everyone has to sit under climate ideology. Everyone has to sit under internet social media bans. Everyone has to sit under, these
Everything that drives the work.
digitized IDs, right?
Yeah.
Digitized profiles. It's like China, where, if you eat too much meat, they won't let you buy meat at the store anymore. If you buy too much of this, they won't let you buy that anymore. It's, if anything, he's right. We're worse than what we probably would have been under a Nazi German control. Unfortunately, making these sorts of little please do's is kind of essential. I enjoy doing it just for the fun of it, but at the same time, if you want to get a message out, you need the people in your community to just comment, like, subscribe, all of the normal jargon, right? Please just take a moment and give me a hand. We need to create a culture of commentary together. And I love the messages coming in my DMs. Put it in the comments section so that everyone else can see it too. Thank you.
Look, not that I particularly can say that I know what those were like, but to be honest with you, I guess you're absolutely correct. The idea that the grief you're even talking about in his voice of, I can't believe I paid a price for these. I can't believe my friends paid a price for these. My brothers, my compadres, the guys that we went in together, selflessly giving of ourselves, and we paid a price for effectively a country to sustain itself to a point where the leadership can start to run it into the ground, choosing all of these things that effectively blocks and takes away those very freedoms that were fought for on those battlefields. It is a sad, sad day. And unfortunately, I really hope that, and we might be, I don't know how long the interview goes for, and I hope that our leadership at the head, whomever they are at the moment, Albanese and his folks, they can really have a look at this and say, what did that mean? And what can we actually do differently? Because if somebody who fought for us feels this way today, maybe we have lost our way.
Yeah, maybe compare the pair a little bit. I mean, I did a pretty brief search on, what were the ideologies that made America, Britain, France, Australia go to war with Germany.
Yeah.
Right. And so many of the ideologies are just the same, but on the flip side of the coin. Right. We've gone from extreme right wing, and I spoke about this yesterday actually. And people think that left and right is a scale, right?
Yeah.
It's just on a line, but it's not. It's one big circle, right? And so you go left far too much and you go right far too much, and they sort of meet up in the middle, and they're the flip side of the same coin.
Yeah.
And we've sort of just gone way too far to the left, and it's almost indistinguishable from Nazism. You just change what the premises are. You want extreme multiculturalism.
Yeah.
Instead of extreme monoculturalism.
Yeah.
You want extreme government control of all of that's actually pretty similar to Nazism. Extreme government control and regulation of all businesses.
Yeah.
You want extreme propagandizing of the population and media control. That's effectively the same thing.
Yeah.
And so
do as you're told, do as you're told, or you will be punished for it. There will be a consequence.
Yeah. And we got a taste of that during COVID, right?
Yeah.
A serious taste.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it's fascism. Fascism is exactly what that is. And isn't it interesting that the left accuses everybody else of fascism the most these days? You look at Charlie Kirk, the minute he was like, hey, your way of living is not right. Hey, we can't be aborting babies. Hey, all of these things that are at the heart of driving what is now the woke culture isn't right. He immediately got viewed by many who clearly don't know what the definition is as authoritarian control, who doesn't want us to do what we want to do, or else they will force us through consequences and regulations. Except, and that's what the definition of fascism is.
Exactly right.
I literally can't see, there is not one evidence anywhere of where Charlie Kirk went, you can't do that, and if you do it again, I'm locking you up or I'm putting you away. Well, what do you see in the UK right now? All over social media, people being arrested because
Just for posts, for their opinions.
And that's
insane.
exactly what fascism is. But you will have
Exactly
the very
right.
same government sitting in the court. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. Funny story. You'll think that the entire reason that Australia is on the Commonwealth, same as the UK, is because, well, the Commonwealth, we align with the monarchy. And the whole purpose of the king and queen and all of that royalty group was to govern and keep sense, maintain a level of civilized intent that the people that they serve, or rather in that case that serves them, have an ability to live in a civilization where each person can live relatively equally.
Yes.
Right? Work hard
Agreed.
and something, get to another level in life. But they seem to kind of sit silently now. They are non-existent in the world, right? Of everything that's going on. So I'm like,
Well, the monarchy, to
yeah.
me, the monarchy was entirely a practice in playing God.
Mm,
Right. So that's how I always saw it. And I've said this previously where I truly believe that the only way that a socialist or a communist or a utopian society can exist that is, a communal, by the people, for the people, and everything is equal, is within the framework of a religious society. Because wherever there is power in the hands of humans, there will be corruption and there will be weakness.
because absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And for me, I think specifically the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church is probably the only example of a socialist/communist society that works, because the head of that organization is not a man. It is not a human. It is God.
Yeah.
And so I find it very interesting that the first thing that every single one of these organizations and even the people today do is to remove God from their society. Because you can't have a communal society that exists where you are in charge of it if God exists, because he becomes the head.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting. You brought up abortion before. That's another Nazi trait. I mean, we are in the highest levels of eugenics that have ever existed in society.
Yeah.
And eugenics was a Nazi creation,
Well,
mind you. And abortion and sex selective abortion specifically, and Dr. Joe has done a lot of work on this recently. Selective abortion specifically was something that was first created inside of Nazi Germany. And so this poor veteran, Alec, just to bring it back to him, I understand why he has these tears, why he has this pain.
Yeah.
And we need to do some serious work here to honor him, to honor his mates.
Yeah.
And to honor the legacy of those who have fallen, especially on today, on Remembrance Day.
Yeah. I think for me, certainly watching him and hearing him, I can very much, I mentioned before, even at the start of going through to being in the military, the initial training that they put you through, and the pain, and not to talk of being on the battlefield and then having to think, oh, wow, I put myself on the line for this? Really? And to be alive, to see that, see what the country has become that you fought for and suffered for and endure years of trauma for, and all of the health plagues that you end up with because you decided to do that selflessly, and to look back and say, wow, look at how far we've come. I really hope the best we can hope for is that our modern day leaders who, by the way, they will never understand what it actually means to be selfless. And this is the thing for me. The leadership appointment of the West has become so soft touch, it's not funny. Those guys
Agreed.
don't need to have actually had any real qualification behind them. They don't need to have actually run any business. They don't need to have actually been a part of the military and served the country in any way. They don't need to have any real discipline. They just need to be able to be good, convincing people at lying.
They are theatre kids. That's what they
Yep.
are. They're
Yep.
theatre kids. They're theatre kids who never really found a place in society, and so they decided to try and change society from the political sphere.
Yeah. Everybody else they are the naughty kid who couldn't fit in with any other kid because they didn't know how to play the game. And so rather than working out how they could improve themselves to join the game, they decided that all the other kids who were playing together needed to actually now play by their rules.
Exactly right. I mean, speaking of people who failed and never really succeeded in what they wanted to do, and so they turned to politics.
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler. Ring any bells?
Yeah.
Failed artist.
Yeah.
Right? Failed soldier. Basically barely saw combat, got injured very early on, and then ended up back salty, grumpy, mad at life, and then became the head of a state so that he could try and take over the world. He was just a theatre kid, right? The same as the politicians that we have today, people who have faked their way through life and somehow made it to the top.
I bet you some of them will have a lot to say about that statement. We didn't just make it to the top. We worked hard for it. Yeah, very hard at lying. I'd been a pathological liar, and now you're slowly journeying into being a complete psychopath as well. But you know what that shows me? That watching that video energizes me for what comes next, because I am far more determined now than ever that we will put Australia first again. And Australia, much like many of the other Western nations who have slowly but surely inherited a bunch of soft, weak, pathological leaders that it's taken them to absolutely nowhere. And people need to stand up and say, we've had enough. No longer can these things happen while we watch. Not in this generation. We won't let it happen. And so what I get from that, two things: watching him, I'm inspired to go further. But even the story you tell then about Adolf Hitler, right? If he could rise to the top from being the ill intent human being that he turned out to be, well, we can have good, righteous intents and go hard for it. And as long as we continue to show up every day and remain consistent with the vision of changing what our country has become and returning it back to a place that truly puts its people first and serves the people like the way it's supposed to be, then we will arrive in a point in time at some point very soon in my generation, I will hope, where we'll return the country back to what it needs to be. And that's what we will now stand for. I
agree. Australia first until we die, am I right?
Yeah, two worlds collide. Yeah. That shout out to him.
He's great. Yeah, shout out to him today as well. Remembrance Day, obviously. So massive shout out to all the Army vets. And I think we'll end with that, lest we forget these guys who have gone before us and who have suffered for us.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to you as well, Emeka, even though you said you never saw combat. You could have. Things were very hot and heavy for a while there. So you definitely could have, and you put yourself in that firing line. So thank you to you. Thank you to all of our vets. Lest we forget, my friend. Lest we forget.